We have a belief in money. We think $20 equals $20. There's a saying, if you go to a bus stop and you pull out $20 and you try to sell it to somebody for $10, nobody's gonna buy it. Now there's a few reasons for that. One, that $20, I mean, it's just a piece of paper, but we all have a belief story about its value. We have an idea about this. So no one's going to believe that it's a real $20 bill if I'm going to sell it to you for 10. No one's going to believe that that kind of a deal is possible. It's all just a belief, a story. If your house has a great appreciation suddenly, your $500,000 home is now worth $800,000 or $1 million. On paper it looks like a good appreciation, but if your kids go to that school, if you're from that area, if your family's in that area, where are you going to buy a home less than $800,000 or $1 million? Nothing's changed, just our story about its value. Money is a story. Its value rises and falls based on our communal belief about it. Let's say there's a currency in the world that's undervalued, just like there is right now. Let's say the currency's value is being based on oil stores, and currently in the market, oil is flooding the market. There's so much oil, so the value of that currency has gone down. As soon as the oil stops flooding the market and it becomes a more expensive commodity, the currency of that country, which was based on oil anyways, goes back up. So perhaps you purchased that currency knowing the value was soon to go up. However, once the value goes up on that currency, in your own city and town, when you go to get some oil for your car, the cost has risen as well. Let's say you spent $10 buying $20 of that country's currency. So now the currency has risen, and that currency is now worth a whole lot more. Let's say your $10 investment is now worth $40. Except when you go to the gas tank to fill your gas, what used to just cost you $10 in gas now costs you $40 in gas. It's all belief systems and speculative game playing. Sure, you invested, so now you actually have the $40, which you're going to put right back into your gas tank. That's the way you have it. There are a million other ways to get that same $40 because life has a natural flow of abundance, and however you want to play with that abundance is however you want to play with it, on speculative investment or in other ways. But these are stories, communal beliefs we're telling about a currency, about the value of oil, about gas in your tank, about the appreciation of your home, and about the value of a $10 bill. At the beginning of this series, I asked you to look very closely at how you feed fear. I asked you how many times a day you feed that story of lack and limitation. How many times a day do you feel that fear, that grip? And how many times a day do you feed that fear? Now, this isn't a matter of changing your story, changing the mental narration, constantly chattering away in your head. That would take so much manipulation, so much effort. This is purely a matter of being aware of what your story of abundance is. How much of your experience is driven by lack and limitation, fueled by fear in your system. Basically how you are telling stories to yourself. Then you don't need to tell another story. You just simply need to be aware of how you tell these stories. And in that pure awareness, it will begin to unravel the fear and the limitation. But so many of you continue to avoid being aware of your own storytelling, proclaiming it to be absolute truth, blaming others, blaming the economy, blaming the state of the world, instead of noticing you are telling that story. Again, I don't need you to tell a different story. To just simply be aware of what's happening is all the power you're ever going to need. There is a truth in reality about abundance. When you let yourself be aware of that truth, truth will always trump the lies you tell yourself. Reality wins. Whatever's true wins. But you need to be aware of all the lies being told. The great thing is those lies hurt. They hurt you a lot. You can feel it in the anger and the contraction and the helplessness and the frustration. They hurt you. And when you allow yourself to be aware of what's actually true, those lies will unravel themselves. So this is really just a bunch of words, because they only mean something unless you're willing to be aware. So go back to Abundance 101 and take this practice to heart and see what it means for you in your life. If you would like some more tips and tools from me, just hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you here next week.